So the story of Kathopanishad starts with a young boy named Nachiketa. Nachiketa is the son of Vajashravas, and Vajashravas is giving away gifts. This is the custom after you do certain Vedic rituals, is to the officiating priests and other well-wishers and who attend, you give away gifts. The reason to give away these gifts is that you will earn meritorious religious merit, you'll go to heaven, etc. Now, Vajashravas, the gifts he's giving away are old cows. They are so old that they can't give any milk anymore. Okay? Nachiketa is a very sincere, faithful child who is well versed in the scripture, and he wants to point out to his father that, Father, doing these things without the proper, just to check the box, but not having the right attitude is not going to get you this merit. So he asks his father, to whom will you give me? His father doesn't reply. So he asks a second time, to whom will you give me? Father still doesn't reply. He asks a third time, to whom will you give me? At this point, his father is exasperated. He's just done with the ritual, he's giving away all these things. He says in anger, I give you to death. Okay. Now, Nachiketa, being a very humble and obedient son, says, I have to follow my father's wish. I should go to death. And he thinks that, men grow up and die and they come again like corn. So I go along this path, I'll go to death. So he goes to death's abode. Now, death, as you know, is anthropomorphized, if you will. It is given a form in many cultures. We have the Grim Reaper in Christian tradition. In Vedic tradition, it is Yama. Yama is the first man, the first mortal to die, and he is also the god of death, and he's a divinity. He has many powers. Okay? So when Nachiketa reaches Yama's abode, Yama is not at home. So Nachiketa waits 3 nights. And on the third night, after the third night, Yama returns from his duties of gathering the dead and other things. And he hears a voice when he enters his abode. And the voice says, when a spiritual guest appears to your home, this guest should be treated well, because this guest is the embodiment of that attributeless consciousness. And water should be given to wash his feet. And anyone who does not do this will lose all their hopes, all their sons, all their cattle, all their religious merit. So Yama, being well aware of this, invites Nachiketa into the home, and he says, you waited 3 nights while I was away. So in exchange for that, I will give you 3 boons, 3 wishes that I will fulfill through my divinity. And he says, what do you choose? So Nachiketa chooses for his first boon, he says, I wish that my father's anger will be appeased and that he'll recognize me when I go back, and that he will love me as before. Yama says, so be it. What do you ask for the second wish? Then Nachiketa says, in heaven you are not there, and so there is neither hunger or thirst, so we can live happily. And teach me that sacrifice by which I can go to heaven. So Yama says, fine, I'll teach you the fire sacrifice. And he teaches him the fire sacrifice. Nachiketa, being very, again, his sincerity and faith, he learns it very quickly and repeats it back to Yama. So the dread god of death says, I'm pleased with you. We'll name this sacrifice the Nachiketa sacrifice. I'll give that as a special boon. Now ask me, what is your third wish? And then Nachiketa says, when a person dies, it is not clear whether that person continues to exist or they die for good. Some people say that when a person dies, it's the end. Some people say it is not. What is the truth? Can you please tell me the secret of this mystery? So the dread king of death, Yama, says, even the gods of old were having some doubts about this, and you, a mere boy, want to know the mystery of death. Why don't you ask for something else? I'll give you vast lands, I'll give you gold, horses, elephants, cattle, as long a life as you want, beautiful women in chariots, skilled in music, dance. Take that. Why do you want to ask this question? But Nachiketa says, no, I really want to know this question because there is no one better than you. You know, in our tradition of the Vedic tradition, Yama is also called Chitragupta. He's called the keeper of secrets. Okay? So he's the keeper of the ultimate secret. And Nachiketa says, all these lands and other things, they will only wear away my vital airs. My vital powers will just be exhausted. So I don't want to do that because I know then I'll die again. And so I'm caught in this cycle. So I want to know the secret. So then Yama says, I'll instruct you in the science of yoga essentially. And then he goes on to instruct. Now we won't go through all that instruction, but we'll jump right to the definition of yoga.